I've just taken delivery of some easy outs from Amazon. I'll tell you about why I got this particular type. Because we're going to have a go at trying to take this snap bolt out of here. Now, it is a tricky one because it's gone into the hole where the thread is for the head bolt, and the head bolt's pushed down on it. I think the bolt's been too long, and that's caused it to snap, so that when somebody's tried to take it out, it's like trying to take a banana out and it won't come out. I've got a sneaking feeling that we're going to have to helicoil that particular stud there. It's going to be a tricky one. But I'm just waiting for some rest of some JB Weld to dry off, so I thought we might as well do it. Because I really want to get on and power wash this block, but I can't do anything until the cam bearings are here, so we're going to have to sort of put this on the back burner pretty shortly. Anyway, bolts don't just snap, as you probably have worked out. It could have snapped because it's got cross-threaded. Doubt it. It could have snapped because it's bottomed out in the hole. So if you've got your, you know, that's your threaded hole. If your bolt goes right down to the bottom and you've got nowhere else to go, it's going to snap off. Like rusty, I don't think this is rusted in. I don't think that's rusted in at all. But we're going to have this is going to be a tricky one. So, like I say, I think it's snapped off because it's like a banana. So what I'm going to do is, on here, let's zoom in a bit. Right, maybe you can see that better. I'm going to buff this off with a grinder, just buff it off so it's flat. And then we're going to establish the centre of this and drill it. Okay, we're going to drill through the centre. Now, I've got a sneaking feeling, like I said, I'm going to helicoil it. Now, I picked up this set of easy out things here, these bolt extractors, and the reason why, I'll show you this big one for a start, because then you'll get the idea. It's a hardened tapered wedge, but if you can see on the sides here, it's got a cutting edge. So as it's going into your drilled hole, it's sort of opening out, but at the same time you've got a lot of surface area to bite onto this little edge here, and that will drive your stud out. Now the problem with the tapered, you know, left hand threaded ones is the more you tighten them in, the wider the hole's getting. It's expanding, and it isn't relying on much to get that screw out. So these, in my opinion, are the nice ones. Whether it'll work or not is a different thing. But for 20 bucks for 4, well, might as well give them a go. Oh no, there's 5. So that's a bonus. So what we're going to do, we'll establish which one we need. It's not the small one. See, look at that one there. That's full of bloody silicone, look. Only bolt holes here. Oh, God, I went bonkers with silicone. There's another one. I think this one here is going to offer us a good contact area to do that hole. So we're going to find out what sort of drill we need for that, and then we'll drill this out. So I just buffed this off with a flap wheel, so it's nice and flat. The thing is, if you're trying to drill on the end of the stud, or the bolt, whatever it is, you can sort of run off if you just want to use a centre punch, if it's rounded. So it's best to get into it. Now we're fortunate that we can actually get to this and it's flat. So I'm going to get a centre punch. I've just sharpened it up, and I'm going to start to put a hole. I'm just going to do a tiniest point like that, not more. I'm off a bit, so now I know where that point is. I can just go to one side. That's better. And chase that, you know, get it good. You can probably see there that I'm drilling one side, the other side, and I'm trying to get it as central as I can. Yeah, that's not too bad. You see there? It's not too bad. But so I've got a little hole in the middle of the bolt. But as I mentioned before, I think it started to run off at the top. So I've got I'm going to progressively work bigger, but I've got the smallest of the easy outs. I'm going to give that a tap in. Yeah, there's a hole there, so. And then, yeah, I can see that on the inside there. Oh, you beauty. Yeah, it's just... I'm sorry for the psychopathic laugh, but it's just as I said. The bolt is like that. It's been pushed down. It actually does turn. See that? It's loose. But there's bolt in there. Now, here's a dilemma. Do I drill it out? Because if I do, I could damage the threads. Ooh. Calamity. Yeah, it's like a banana. Let me see if I can get the camera off and I'll show you. Right, this is going to be interesting to film. There is the bolt. Can you see it? Can you see it turning? There it is there. Now then, how the hell am I going to get that out of there? I wonder, I'll tell you what we could do. Use a die grinder. I'm going to extend this die grinder so it's a bit longer, so that it's only cutting right at the very edge of here, not here, because I don't want to damage the thread. It's actually under the thread. It's funny how it's actually caught. Let me come back and set that up. I've shut the door a bit so we can see what we can do, because I didn't realise the sun was shining so bright. Right, so what I've done is I've got the die grinder. I'm going to put this right to the bottom of the hole and see if we can start to grind it off without damaging the thread. I don't know if you can see sparks coming out of here. So we've got so far through. Turning the bolt just a little bit so we can get better access to it. Whoa, what was that? I think we're through. This would be good if it worked. It'd be good if it stays in here. Trust your uncle, Michael. There we go. Is that focusing in? Got it out. You see where I die grinded the end off? Hey, look at that. Didn't even have to helicoil it. There's some debris in there, but we'll get a magnet or something like that and blow it out. In fact, we'll just use a gun, blow it out. So that was good. That was If we'd have used something else other than these, we could have made the job even worse by drilling the bolt and expanding it in the actual thread. So now what I'm going to do is go around this block with a tap, a 13mm tap, and tap out all the holes, because a lot of them have got silicone in, and that can be another problem, getting bolts and snapping them, because you've put silicone in. And what it'll do is, if it's in a blind hole, that is to say the hole's like this, it's not all the way through, so if it was a through hole it would be just parallel into some void at the other side. When it's in a blind hole, if you've got silicone in there and you start putting a bolt in, there's a good chance that it can either snap the bolt on its weakest point or break through the casting at the other side. I've seen that done quite a few times on aluminium castings, it just breaks them. So I'm very pleased at that. Let's clean all these out and we'll see what's like. So, half of the bolts in this block were buggered up with silicone. Now, just a little one. If you put in a paper gasket on, like in the front of here, on this front flange, just use blue Hylamar. You don't need to use silicone. Silicone's better on metal to metal, like sumps and things like that, where there isn't a gasket. But the RTV is good stuff, but like I say, you can get down into bolt threads and really spoil your day. Talking of which, we've got this ladder frame here, and this one's got a bolt snapped here. This was a bitch to get out. That's why I never did the video, because it took me quite a long time to do that. Now the problem with that one is, it was a flange headed bolt, so it was a flange headed bolt like this, which means usually the thread is the same size as the head. So this is an 8mm, but in our case it was a 10mm, and what had happened, it's got either cross-threaded or something like that, and it wouldn't come out. I tried every trick in the book, and in the end I had to drill it and then chisel the head off so I could get the oil pan off, because you couldn't get the sump off to get this off, so I was kind of stuck. So what I'm going to do with that one, I'm going to put that in the drill press. The hole is slightly off centre, so I'm going to try and drill at an angle and then bring the drill up using hand drill and then try and drill it out. I hope it works, but again, if it doesn't, well, we'll just put a helicoil in it. Boy, we're on a roll today. Look at this. Look at that stud come out. Look at that. I think I'll buy a lottery ticket. Wow, man, that is tight. But it hasn't broke off. I think they're the best 20 bucks I've ever spent. Now, like I say, if we use the screw-in left-hand thread one, so like as you're screwing out, it's tightening in, it would have splayed open the more you tighten it up. And whereas this, it'll just bash into the bolt or the stud and unscrew it. Now, obviously, this was a bitch because it was so tight, but it came off. Anyway, I've still drilled all the way through it. $20, eh? Well worth it. Right, I think that's enough for snap bolts. I don't know if I mentioned it in the video, but I went through everything on these bolts here and tapped them all out again because they were full of silicone. It's not good. Even these were full of silicone. So, I think that's it for today. I think I'll rest on my laurels and have the rest of the afternoon off editing videos. See you later.